Good morning. It's Friday, May 28th, 6:06 a.m. Welcome to Mark Yu and Wawi Show Season 1,
Good
Episode
morning,
2. This is Mark Yu,
and this is Wawi Santos.
and welcome to the Mark Yu and Wawi Show. So, Kuya Wawi, let's start off with some good news. So, yung first episode
Okay.
natin is gaining some traction sa YouTube. And at the same time, good news available to our listeners that would like to use Spotify or Google Podcasts. We're also live or at least recorded and available to download on those sites then.
Mhm.
So, yun, disclosure lang before we begin. Me and Kuya Wawi are not registered investment advisors, but we share the same passion in investing. So we decided to make and collaborate and make this podcast. So we share our investment ideas, thoughts, and as well as look forward to like your feedbacks and questions. That way we can help each one um, in our investing journey.
Yes, that's a good mission. Mhm.
So for the week since we've posted our first podcast, we had a lot of like feedback, which is
Yes.
from our from our listeners in both like rehab and healthcare field. And Kuya Wawi, meron pang international listener.
Oh, yes. We have listeners from the Philippines
Mhm.
that are interested in what we're doing, and we have some Vietnamese listeners also that would like us to speak more in English when
Okay.
we're discussing different topics about investing.
Right. So the topic of feedbacks, the feedbacks ranges from kailangan ko na mag-share more of my investment experience, which we'll do today for sure. And some of them even mentioned for us to share some current events in Wall Street, which we would do shortly. We would be starting doing this starting on this episode. Also, some of them have told us na paano ba magsimula, how to start investing, and some of them are asking also like what are thoughts and opinions to options, like options trading. So we might invite some people also as well to join us, no, Kuya Wawi, to explain more on those stuff.
Yes, so in our Facebook Messenger group, I believe we have some experts on that.
Mhm.
And we'll plan on inviting some of them. And it would be nice for our viewers and listeners to um, keep continuing with their feedback so we can uh, adjust and answer their questions
Right,
and address their financial investment questions so
exactly.
we can help them in their investment journey.
Right.
um,
Mhm.
and like I said, we have different people with different experiences and specialties that can probably help answer questions as they come along.
Great. So to begin with, so Wall Street, for this week, I don't think wala naman masyadong nangyari this week, no, Kuya Wawi? Medyo,
Tahimik,
yeah,
it's
tahimik,
quiet.
quiet, except for, couple of stocks. We'll get there. So first thing I noticed is Costco announced that beef prices went up 20% this month. Just beef. So kung may Costco
Wow.
membership kayo, take advantage of the $1.50 hot dog sandwich, definitely. Napakasulit. Putlong hot dog for
Wow.
$1.50 a drink. And then one major investor or activist, Carl Icahn, had an interview. Bihira lang siya magpa-interview, but he had an interview
Mm.
recently saying that he might get in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, for
Ayan.
for a for a budget of not less than $1 billion, a billion, letter B, 1 to 1.5 billion into Bitcoin. As
Amazing.
And then what else? Yung Dow Jones, which we talked about Kuya Wawi last week, no, in which compromises of the top 30 stocks in the US. big companies listed publicly just celebrated its 125th year anniversary, 125 years of in existence, serving investors like us.
Wow,
Um,
congratulations to Dow Jones
Dow
Industrial.
Jones, yes. Ito yung index na-update once in a while na if you're a passive investor or you go through your 401k, more likely you're invested in this type of index instead of being exposed to singular stocks. Tapos lastly, I would like to say na na-observe ko, Kuya Wawi, yung favorite ng Wall Street bets. So, yung Wall Street,
GameStop.
yeah, GameStop and AMC theaters. So yung well, Wall Street bets to begin with, it's like a page in Reddit. So it's like a Facebook sort of community na nagta-chat sila doon. Mostly interested sila sa mga stocks, ano kaya yung titirahin nila, titirahin ano kuya, yung
Oo.
nila. So nabanggit
They're going against the yung mga shorts.
right.
Uh-huh.
So shorts in more like definition are like for those investors na going against a company. A short means a bet against the company. They want the stock price instead of going up, going down. So most of the time, hedge funds or big money ang nag-short ng mga ganitong stocks. Kasi ang idea dito yata, Kuya Wawi, is like hedge funds are betting that theaters and GameStop, patumba na yung mga yan. So papunta na yan sa zero. So nagbet sila ng billions that the stock would go down. But ang nangyari is total opposite. Like AMC, just for this week, right now it's Friday morning, so close play market, they're already up 110% since
Wow.
Monday. 110%. So nagdoble. So $1,000, let's say nag-invest ka Monday, open ng market 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Tapos ngayon, na hinold mo siya, you have already turned that $1,000 into $2,000 just by buying AMC. So this is not an investment advice. We're just saying, what do you think, Kuya Wawi, of this like crazy, or I would say normal maybe for this stock?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to say is yung mga influencers, right, is a big force in the market right now. So just groups like this Reddit group can, change your decision in what you're going to buy. So
Exactly.
a lot of them are holding their AMC shares because they're seeing the prices are going up. So they're trying to just move with the price action and moving with the meme. Right? So parang ano yan it's like somebody wants to start a rally. Hey, let's protest.
Yeah.
And they're using stocks as a way to protest.
Right.
And so you see the price just shoot up.
Crazy. Oh.
It's crazy. I think Robert Schiller, his book, Irrational Exuberance, talks a lot about that.
Yes.
I would highly recommend that to people because we're seeing a lot of this happening right now, some irrational exuberance in the market.
Yep.
So just be careful.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you, Kuya Wawi. In my perspective naman, I'm totally totally against this kind of like stocks. Not supporting the retail crowd or regular, ordinary investors, pero buying a stock just because it's going up is not a pure like a safe background why you're getting into one, why you're putting your money in it. For one thing,
Yes,
it's already manipulated for sure, and who knows when the music will stop, or it could just abruptly go down like what happened a couple of months ago. So actually ngayon, Kuya Wawi, chine-check ko yung pre-market, no? So pre-market to our listeners, it's like, so yung stock market to begin with, they're open daily, Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kuya Wawi. Correct me if I'm wrong. 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So,
Yes.
pag
So
pre-market, bukas,
8:30 here at
right,
dito sa Central Standard Time.
exactly. So, ngayon, 6, as of now, we're talking, it's 6:16 a.m. So, sarado pa yung markets. Ang nangyayari ngayon, yung bids, actually, or bids means buy orders. So, yung mga taong gustong bumili ng stock, ina-enter na nila yung order nila before sila pumunta sa trabaho. That way, they get a piece of the action. So, right now, pre-market, we're talking, before mag-open yung market, Kuya Wawi, up na naman ng
Yes.
15% ang AMC. Oh my gosh. And then, yung GameStop naman, up siya ng 8% even before the markets open. So there's heavy demand on these stocks. So these are not investment recommendations. If we get to publish this before the market open, I strongly advise for for our listeners to make sure that you know what you're doing if you're gonna get into these stocks. Maybe later on in the succeeding podcast, we'll tackle especially what me and Kuya Wawi are looking at in these companies before we even think about thinking of buying these stocks and including it in our portfolio. Di ba tama, Kuya Wawi?
Tama kasi, yes, you're right. Because if you look at the 52-week low, or just for example, GameStop, July 20, 2020, it was priced at $3.77.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And as of end of trading day yesterday, GameStop was up $254.
Oh my gosh. 200. Oh my gosh. So that's
So you can
incredible.
see
Yeah.
how the meme and the Reddit guys can push the price
Right.
up
Right.
to unbelievable heights.
Yes.
And from what we've seen in the past, which is not predictable of the future, but most of the time you can predict a high skyrocketing stock
Yeah.
price is most likely to go down fast as well.
Yeah. But in the end, music will eventually stop and you don't want to be the one holding the the bag for sure. Yun nga yung tinatawag nilang
Mhm.
bag holder. Naipit ka sa taas, ngayon naging long-term investor ka tuloy nang hindi inaasahan kasi naipit ka sa taas
Mhm.
eh. Sino pa yung bibili? Pero ayun nga, we'll see when we get there. Oh, by the way, to our listeners, meme, M-E-M-E, means like, it's a trend. Like, gumagawa sila ng meme, ika nga nilalagay nila yung stock name dun sa meme na yun. Tapos, pinapas nila. It's a funny image na, uy, bili tayo ng ganito. Tapos, nakakatawa lang yung meme na yun for our listeners. And it's making a trend. So, people are getting into it for some reason that we probably don't know or do know. So, yung next naman is, lastly na na-observe ko for the week is 30-year mortgage rates for those listeners that would like to buy house. Bumagsak na naman siya under 3%.
Oh.
So it's now 2.95%. So if you think that you're in the market of buying a house, which ano kuya Wawi, yung ano natin, inventory natin kamusta? Yung inventory sa housing.
I think the inventory is down. So yung mga bahay na binebenta ngayon, it's down. So prices of homes are going up because of that. So the interest rates may be low,
Right.
but the prices of existing homes are high.
Right. So, isa lang yung gusto ko i-point out dito sa rates na to. So, even though, like what you just said, Kuya Wawi, even though the interest rates is low, you need to look out for the price. So, like yung sabi sa isang news article a couple weeks ago, housing prices on average have risen about 22%, Kuya Wawi? 22%?
Yes, 22 to 24% is
That's
what I'm seeing.
grabe. So, yung normal price natin tumaas pa lalo. Tapos sabi nila dahil nga dun sa tumataas na yung lumber or whatever. But just watch out for our listeners who are wanting to buy into real estate. This may or may not be a good time depending on your financial situation. Make sure that your income can definitely cover the mortgage. Well, in the first place, banks will definitely look into your account kung kaya mo i-afford yung property. So
Correct. There's a
yeah.
lot involved in buying a home.
Mhm.
You have to think of, property taxes, um,
Right.
and stuff like that too.
Yeah, minsan kasi pag
Maintenance as well.
maintenance, lalo na pag hindi siya brand new built. Ayun. So going on to the next topic, we really do appreciate our listeners for giving your feedback. Na-appreciate namin yun, and some of them we will tackle as of like right now. So I guess before we start, I would like to correct myself then about one claim that I have that I'm still an OFW. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Kuya Wawi, about OFW. Because I got my permanent green card last year. One of our listeners raised it um, to me na actually pagka green card ka na, hindi ka na OFW kasi for example, you're not no longer, let's
Mhm.
say, working under a contract. Um,
Yes.
for our listeners in the Philippines, um, some Filipinos go here in the US under H-1B to work. The H-1B is also known as working visa. Tapos yung isa is EB-2 or green card. So H-1B always has a term, like 3 years. After 3 years, pag hindi na rin yung contract, balik ka na sa Philippines. Pero ang green card, once you have a green card, you have a permanent residence, so you can actually look for jobs aside from your current employment. So, yun lang siguro. Hindi,
Yes, you're right, Mark. Congratulations, because that makes you more of a free agent. You became a resident of the United States.
right.
And the beauty about having a green card is also a pathway for citizenship. So some of our countrymen that came to the United States and got a green card, just like myself, after a few years, you are qualified to apply for citizenship.
Right.
And there's a lot of advantage to becoming a US citizen. And part of that is you become, available for certain benefits of becoming a citizen. For me, a lot of the um, factor for me to go into citizenship is healthcare, right? So when I get older, I'll
Right.
be eligible to the Medicare system,
Mhm.
and then the pension system or the social security system here in the States,
Right.
property ownership. And
Mhm.
then if you're still young, just like you, Mark,
Mhm.
your ability to travel to, the different countries that are allied to the United States without having a visa. So
Right.
that's a big deal. There's a lot of countries that will allow you to travel with a US passport without having to get a visa.
Sana nga. We'll get there, Kuya Wawi. We'll
Soon,
get there
malapit
soon.
na.
So, ayun. So, proceed tayo sa next topic natin, which is, well, I guess yung investing journey ko off of college. I would try to squeeze this in within like the next 5 or 10 minutes. I'll try to summarize it. So, yun. It's a little out of my comfort zone, pero I guess this is how I started. So like I said on our pilot episode, I graduated in 2010, to be exact, March of that year. After that, we have to prepare for board exams. So June. So during that time, focus on the boards. Luckily, I passed the boards. One take. Tapos, during that time, we were actually waiting for the oath taking. So June to maybe August, September, wala akong ginagawa. I was trying to see what my options are to start earning a little bit of money, to help at home, to start a savings account. Actually, may savings account pero maliit lang. So, trying to see how to start earn money. So, during that time, one of my friends, actually, he didn't make it through the bachelor's degree. He dropped out of college. He started real estate. He's in contact with me. He's like probably, I would say, top gun dun sa real estate firm niya sa Makati. Marami na siya nabenta, manager na siya. So he offered me a job while waiting for my oath taking. ayun. So I ended up like handing out flyers, real estate job. It's not even like a good, I would say, minimum wage. Kasi salary mo doon is like allowance for just the commute. You have to, like what most brokers or real estate agents earn, sa commission sila kumikita once they make a sale. Pero daily, hindi enough yung allowance nila. So August, fine. So I started earning a little bit of money. So nung August na yun, that year, 2010, um, nag-oath taking kami, started volunteering work. I remember back then, I was actually during the oath taking, and I think it was held in Manila Hotel. For some reason, I was wearing, yung usual long tie, ganun, long sleeves. Um, I think I have carried with me the idea of selling eggs actually, or starting some eggs, like egg crates, like business kind of like.
Oh,
I'm telling my friends, uy, alam mo, pag nag-start tayo, bili tayo ng ganito sa Blooming Treat. Blooming Treat is like a local marketplace. Tapos i-sell natin in bulk sa mga restaurants. We could get some margin. Ewan ko, yun sa
so like chicken eggs,
chicken eggs.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
For some reason, try kong engage kung ano yung other options for income back
Mhm.
then. Tapos at the same time, after ng oath taking, nag-volunteer ako, became a research assistant to one of my professors, starting, adding a little bit in my income. Tapos, siguro for our listeners lang, before we go off track, the reasons why I'm sharing this information is because siguro this is how I literally started my earning money and learned about investing the hard way. The reason is because we'll get into it shortly. So I realized na doing these other side gigs or jobs, volunteering especially, you don't earn any money at all. So I asked my
But you're gaining experience,
definitely gaining some
mhm,
experience
working.
in the field, getting some exposure to other people, how to talk to other people, introduce yourself, explain how this goes, yung expectations na during therapy, ganun. That was in October, I think November, as a research assistant. We got me and my some of my batchmates got in touch. Tapos we decided to start a small PT clinic na rin, related pa rin sa, of course, sa field natin. So I don't have any money. My grandfather, my grandfather loaned me, I think 45,000 pesos to be exact, um,
Wow.
to start a small business with other people, to start a small clinic there in Binondo, which eventually dissolved. but pero I think right now my other business partners in that clinic now is like really, I would say, booming at this point of time despite the pandemic. Um,
You don't mind telling our listeners the name of your rehab company
sure.
in the Philippines?
So the clinic was called, named Liberty Hall Physical Therapy Clinic. It was there right at the center of Binondo, Chinatown,
Mhm.
near
Right
the
in the heart of Manila.
yeah, oldest Chinatown in the world actually, dun sa Chinatown, dun sa Binondo.
Yes.
So yun, aside from that, me and other of my friends decided na maybe, after attending a lots of seminars to improve your skills, me and other my batchmates and my research lead, my professor, decided to make a small group, a seminar provider, 2011, which until now it's up and running, in good hands, I can after after long, it's been 10 years since we started. So pero after starting these ventures, um I already let go of my real estate gig for sure kasi wala ka naman matutunan doon. I mean, meron siguro yung hard work. You have to get up, go, punta ka sa mall.
Mhm.
Yung mga, we pass by malls, yung mga stations sila right at the middle, giving you flyers, you don't even pay attention to them. So,
Mhm.
I'm one of those back then. So, medyo
Sounds like a good foundation of hard work and perseverance, which would
definitely
apply later on to a lot of your undertakings and everyone's undertakings if they want to be successful in life.
right. For definitely it's one of the paths to get there. Tapos
Yes.
I'm still not satisfied with my earnings back then. So I decided working in the call center, graveyard shift. That was good paying job siya at that time. And eventually, so during this short period, one of my closest girl, I guess girlfriend, not girlfriend, friend na girl, uh, introduced me to one of his like closest friend na rin. So this is where I began being exposed to the investment side of things. So I have all these savings sa bank. So inintroduce niya doon sa friend niya, pinakita niya ako ng charts, pumunta ako sa condo unit, pinakita niya ng charts printed out, sabi ko, wow, ano to? Parang something new. Tapos
Mhm.
she told me if you're further interested, we could Skype like what we're doing now, Kuya Wawi. Dati Skype to eh, ngayon Zoom na.
Yeah, medyo advanced na tayo ngayon.
Advanced na, nakakapag-record na tayo, ganun. Pero yun nga, pinakita niya ng chart, sabi niya, uy, ito yung actual money na in-invest ko. Wow, napabilib ako kasi yung returns niya every day, Kuya Wawi, 20%, 10%, you know.
Do you remember what stock you were looking at that time?
That's a really good question, Kuya Wawi. So, ang tinitingnan namin that time, believe it or not, napaka-noob ko pa nun, wala akong alam, is
Mhm.
Forex, foreign currency.
Wow. Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Either me. So, ako naman sabi ko, nice. Sige, sige, open ako ng small account, invest ako 10,000. It didn't take long, like it just took a couple of days. Sabi ko, sige, pasok ko 10,000, baka maging 20,000 next week. So yun nga. So I started depositing money, whenever I earn a little bit. I remember yun nga, kahit big start pa lang tayo, aggressive na tayo that time. So wala pang wire transfer, I go to BDO, set up deposit slips, ini-screenshot ko para future reference na nag-deposit ako. All in all, I invested all my money to this guy,
Oh, wow.
which I just met.
So how did that turn out?
So yun nga, medyo hard to explain, pero we learn from our lessons. So there was one day after seeing all the gains in 1 week, I was up, let's say, 20,000 pesos. That was good return. You can never earn that in a month back then. I mean, including all
Yes. Mhm.
my call center, graveyard shift. Pupunta pa ako sa Paranaque, seeing some home health patients, Fairview. So, maganda. Tumaas yung pera. Tapos may come to a point na biglang bumagsak na yung currency. For some reason, coming out of Europe, I don't know what happened back then. I probably know in hindsight what happened. Pero yun,
Mhm.
nag-drop yung, all in all, I think bumagsak yung account ko from 69 or 70,000 ng 20,000 in one day. Tapos the
Oh, wow.
following day, 40,000, following day, 30,000 na lang. Next day, 25,000 na lang. So it's like your money digitally is losing a lot like in such a short period. So in return, kinonta ko na yung tao. Sabi ko, I want to pull out whatever's remaining. Sabi niya, you cannot pull out. Wala yun sa usapan natin. One more thing, wala kaming contract then. I was just depositing money. So,
Mm.
invest
Wow.
mo, thinking that it'll grow. So sabi niya, you cannot pull
High
out.
risk.
High risk talaga siya. Sabi niya, nag-ano ka dito, nag-invest ka dito, you cannot pull out. So sabi ko, sige, Kuya Wawi. Hindi. Iba-ibang tao to. I won't mention his name to give him anything in credit.
Mhm. Just sharing experience.
Yeah, so actually may kaso siya sa akin pero wala naman nangyari. So small claims lang siya. Pero in the end, sabi ko, sige, whatever's left, I wanna take half of it. Sabi niya, sige, pwede natin gawin paraan yan. Pero I'll charge you 10,000 pesos. Sabi ko, 10,000 pesos just to pull out the remaining 20, edi wala na talaga nang natira, di ba? So, in the end, after a day later, after I requested for my half of whatever's remaining, wala na siya. So, wala na siya sa Facebook, hindi na siya nagpe-pick up ng calls, wala na. As in,
Oh, it was
zero.
a scam.
it was definitely, it ended up as a scam, in hindsight. So yun,
So, so for our listeners out there, be careful. Choose your platforms for trading. Um, Pick out the big companies
right,
like Fidelity, E-Trade, um, Merrill Lynch. Those are reputable exchange companies.
right. Those big companies you want to definitely engage in. Kaysa sabi nito, sabi ni ganyan, unless yung person yun is credible naman enough na tingin mo he's actually telling what he's doing what he's preaching. So yun, just imagine lang na na-lose mo lahat ng earnings mo, pinaghirapan mo day and night. Just imagine
Mhm.
how tough that is. For me now, I wasn't able to sleep, or medyo down talaga ako that time.
Mhm.
Sabi nga ng kaibigan ko, sabi niya, "Oh, okay ka lang." Kasi nandun ako sa LRT, so we're doing some seminars then, trying to assemble one. Ano lang,
Mhm.
tulala lang ako, nakaupo lang ako doon sa, I know it's the station where you get off to go to Ateneo, Moro Complex. Santolan yata. So tulala lang ako, nagpa-pass by lang sa kanya, uy, ayos lang. So those few words parang nag-light bulb sa akin, parang sabi ko, hindi na tama to. So I have to do something about it. So from there, I think, yeah, I vowed to myself that never again I will trust any one of my hard-earned money. If there's anyone that will invest my money, ako na yun. So during this
So
time,
you took control of your own investments now, and you did not rely on another person.
definitely,
So
yeah,
you became an active investor.
active investor for sure. Tama yan, Kuya Awi. Yun, during this time, I was carrying, I remember doing home health sa Paranaque. I was carrying a bag full of soya milk. So, frozen soya milk. So, in addition to my home service, binibentahan ko ng soya milk yung kliyente ko, ganun. Tapos, alam ko, during at this moment, 2011, mid-2011, after the scam, I was sitting there at 7-Eleven waiting for my client. Now, I was reading a book by Chinky Tan. It's called For Richer or Poorer. I think it's still available in National Bookstore. I kind of opened my eyes into like allocating your money into savings, ganun. And later on, I ended up with a book by Bo Sanchez. It's called My Maid Invest in the Stock Market. Have you read that, Kuya Wawi, yung My Maid Invest in the Stock Market?
No, not yet. But I'll put that on my list of books to read.
No, I think for beginners it's a necessity. Pero sa level mo, Kuya Wawi, I don't think I don't think you would need that. You already know the basics for sure. Sabi lang sa book kasi, yung katulong ni Bo Sanchez nag-invest sa stock market, she turned her earnings into like 1 million pesos. So, right there and
Wow.
then, yeah, nag-open ako ng account ko sa Philippines, Citysec Online. Now it's called Call Financial. For our Filipino listeners, definitely you guys should try to open an account with Call Financial Group. They're really well established. That's where I hold my investments there in the Philippines. So from there, started a little small account. The story is going long, pero we'll cut it short in a few minutes. Or so to our other listeners that's looking forward to other topics. So I opened an account in Citysec Online or Call Financial, grew it to 2 million pesos, and then eventually na-hire ako dito to the US, start working here in Texas, 2014. That's when I didn't have any car, and Amazon was already open or online back then. So I bought a bunch of books, self-studied, and then yung nga, nag-online study ako in other places. And then 2015, I was in the midst of studying that course, finance course, and Doctor of PT. Um, with little savings I had from my job, I went to the Berkshire Hathaway meeting sa Omaha.
Oh, so did you meet Warren Buffett?
Oh, I saw him in the screen. Masasabi ko. So for our listeners who are wondering who is Warren Buffett, He's the world's greatest investor, or unless anyone disputes that, he is the world's greatest investor. I think right now he's one of the top 10. Actually, right now, chinek ko sa Google, nasa 110 billion net worth niya. So he started investing in the stock at the young age of 11 or 10. Now he's 90 years old. He's worth 110 billion just by investing in the stock market and making deals.
Mhm.
I read most of his books, most of his book recommendations. Ayun. After that, during that time na rin, right when I started working, I started setting aside some money, open an investment account sa Wells Fargo, which is my checking account back then. So some of our listeners might wonder, legitimate ba or eligible ka ba mag-open ng brokerage account if you're like H1B? So in my experience, yes, you can actually open an investment account with your bank as long as they have those services. There's nothing that's bad about it or wrong about it or illegal about it. You can actually start investing. So 2014 to 2020, I was working under H1B, working permit. I started allocating funds to that account. It grew and grew, luckily. So at present, to cut things short, May 2021st, I'd say I was able to grow that money to 6-digit stock portfolio here in the US. At the same time in the Philippines, maintain that account. And from there, I kind of like also used some of that money to buy some real estate. So I kind of like diversified as well. Diversified meaning you're not just exposed to just one investment. So
Yes.
the real estate. So I guess that's my story, Kuya Wawi. So
Yes. So
the boarding listeners.
very, very good thing to hear your experience. And I think a lot of our listeners can resonate with that, that, you don't give up, right?
Right.
You keep trying and you keep looking for different opportunities on how to grow your, yourself, your wealth. And there are different avenues, like you said. And the common things that people use is the stock market to invest their money in, and the real estate market.
Right.
uh, and there's the evidence to show that the capitalist society, really allows for people to, to grow, uh, to grow their wealth, because you're investing in not just in businesses, but you're also investing in yourself,
Right.
right? It's everything that you have talked in the past few minutes relate to experience.
Right.
So one time I had a friend ask me, he wanted to know more about investing. And so I told him that the best way to learn is to go ahead and do it. As you do it, as you invest your money either in the stock market or the real estate, you start learning, through experience. So don't be hesitant.
Right.
Do seek advice,
Right.
from people you trust or companies you trust, and then go for it.
Yun nga eh.
You may be surprised where the journey will take you.
Right.
And for the most part, it does open up doors for growth, you
Exactly.
know, and there will be failures,
Mhm.
like what happened to you
Right.
early on in your investment journey.
Right.
But typically, you learn from that and then you grow from that.
Yeah. Sabi nga
Thank
nila,
you for sharing, Mark.
yeah.
Very good experience.
Yun nga, sabi nga Kuya Wawi, pag sabi nila, if you're hearing something, no, sinasabi nila, the quote goes by, I think, like this. So, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. So, do your
Hmm.
research. Just make sure that you know what you're getting into. Like, tsaka yun nga, Kuya Wawi, I am for it for sure. Like taking risk. Kasi Like both of
Mhm.
us, we experienced this firsthand. We took a big risk. For our listeners na nandito na sa US or who were born here, we took a big risk. Like tinake natin yung risk na ma-separate sa parents, sa family natin, siblings, whoever is closest to us, to go take a job overseas, not knowing where we'll eventually end up with. Nag-sign up tayo sa employer natin, in-interview lang tayo sa phone, or back then, baka na Skype interview kayo. Pero ako, phone interview lang ako eh. So parang excited, ganun. Pero at the same time, you're leaving your loved ones to start with your own life outside of your comfort zone, outside of kung saan ka napanganak, ganun. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going off tangent, pero I guess if you are willing to take that enormous risk with your life, and you want to make sure that your future keeps on providing later on, you might also want to take a little bit of risk. If you're not used to being exposed financially, you might want to start with a little bit, maybe $100 a brokerage account, not through anyone, I guess. Nowadays, no, Kuya Wawi,
Yes, yes. Choose your platform wisely.
do it through app, and make sure yung app na yun is, has lots of feedback. We have our own preferences, me and Kuya Wawi. For Kuya Wawi, it's Fidelity, no, Kuya Wawi.
Yes, correct. I
For
use
me,
Fidelity.
for me, it's Interactive Brokers. So whichever you guys are, just check it, Google, look at their feedbacks. Pero so far, we didn't encounter any major issues, or hindi naman ninako ng brokerage firm namin ni Kuya Wawi yung pera namin. So far so good for all these years. So
Mhm.
I guess we'll go on to our next
Stock of the week.
stock of the week, Kuya Wawi. What is your stock of the week?
Well, my stock of the week for today, ticker symbol niya is SKYT.
Okay, ano to, Kuya Wawi?
Ano ito eh, this is a pure play microchip company based here in the United States. I'm gonna read the company profile.
Okay.
Skywater Technology manufactures integrated circuits. The company provides technology services for various microelectronics comprising integrated circuits and related micro and nanotechnology applications. It serves its customers developing and manufacturing ICs in various markets, including aerospace and defense,
Okay.
automotive computing and cloud, consumer, industrial, and medical. The company was incorporated in 2017 and is headquartered in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Mas bata
So,
pa si Kuya Wawi,
yeah, it's a young
2017.
company. Yeah.
Okay.
And looking at its current price right now is $25.
Okay.
So why Skywater?
Okay.
Okay. So we're trying to move our reliance away from China right now, trying to produce our semiconductors over here in the mainland.
Okay.
And Skywater IPO just recently.
Oh, so they
And
just went public. So for our listeners, IPO is also known as initial public offering. So IPO means
mhm.
yung company na to private ito dati. Tapos ngayon, it's either gusto nilang mas maraming pera or gusto lang nila ma-expose sa public para mas makaraise sila ng pera. So nag-list sila sa public and to get public interest and public money.
Yes, and so far it's been successful. They're opening another factory, I believe. So dalawa na yung factory nila. They have two factories that I know of, and it's supported by the U.S. government. So I'm looking at this company right now as a growth company. Okay, so I chose Skywater because its potential for growth, I think, is there.
For our listeners lang, Kuya Wawi, cut lang ako ng brief second. Na-disconnect kami, Kuya Wawi. So technical issues. So we're catching up. So Sige Kuya Wawi, proceed.
Okay, so looking at the technical analysis, yun yung looking at graphs and market sentiment, they're seeing that there's a moderate growth for Skywater. There's not a lot of numbers here yet for the company.
Bagong siya, no, Kuya Wawi? Bagong listed. I mean, 27 yung found. So,
yeah, it's newly listed. It's 52-week range, which started April 2021. It was pegged at $14.25, and right now it's at $25.42.
Taas ang tinaas.
Mm-hmm.
So 52-week for our listeners is 1 year. So in a year, there are 52 weeks. Pag sinabi ni Kuya Wawi, 52-week low, that's the lowest in the past year. 52-week high, that's the highest in the past year.
Yes. So that's my stock pick for the week, and we can talk more about it as I get more numbers on this company.
Sige,
So what's your stock pick, Mark?
Hindi ako prepared sa stock pick eh. So we'll stick with your stock pick for now. And then
okay.
So let's proceed with the next one. We're doing a little bit extra time today compared to our previous episode. So for some of our listeners that has stuck with us until now, we appreciate your time definitely, and hopefully we have shared more information in our experiences. So our next topic is finance word of the day, Kuya Wawi. We're almost there to our listeners. Finance word of the day.
Compounding.
Ano to, Kuya Wawi?
Well, okay, I have to read this for the viewers. Compound interest is quite simply the result of interest earning interest. Okay? Okay, so may example dito sa book na binabasa ko eh. So if you invest in like a savings account that pays 10% interest per year, $100, it is the price you receive for lending money. If interest is not compounded, then if it's simple interest, then you earn $10 a year if it's 10%. After 2 years, you have $120. If interest is compounded, then the second year, your initial $10 of interest also earns 10% interest. So you, after 2 years, you have $121. That extra dollar is the result of your interest earning interest.
There you go.
It is the result of compound interest. So this is how your investment grows exponentially, because yung tubo mo, your interest, gets another interest over time. So palaki siya ng palaki. So very powerful.
So sabi nga ni, I think it was Warren Buffett, or hindi, Einstein yata eh, na compounding is actually the ninth wonder of the world. Kasi
yes, eighth wonder of the world.
Eighth wonder of the world. So parang lumalaki lang yung pera mo as you put your money there, let it grow until you need it. Pero yun nga actually yung gandahan ng compounding, which you can actually unlock but once you start investing. So, and lastly, our quote of the week, Kuya Wawi.
So sticking with compounding, my quote of the week is from James Clear. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Lalim nun. It's deep. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement.
Okay.
So my point of view on that is, you build healthy habits, and when it comes to investing, you build a learning habit. You learn as much as you can by reading first reading the news, staying on current events, and then learn more about financial literacy through our podcast, and learn with us. read different books. So yan ang mga habits ko. These are my habits. I try to stay with current events in the market sphere, particularly different businesses and trends, and including cryptocurrency. Those are my interests, and then reading different books about how the market works. Right now, I'm reading Irrational Exuberance by Robert Schiller.
Nice.
And aside from that, also your working habits, so medyo kailangan structured ka. You have to have structure time for your investment learning habit. So, but don't go overboard. So, ang nangyayari kasi minsan, what happens sometimes is we end up spending a lot of time. You tend to segue to different things. You get distracted. So you structure, your learning. You find what your goal is. What do I want to learn today? Like, for example, I wanted to learn more about what's going on in the Bitcoin market. Why is it going down? And so you go to reliable sources for that. And one of my reliable sources is chain analysis to see where the money is going.
Right. So it's all about being specific to your goal. So for the day, set something na siguro easily achievable para you get that habit of like accomplishing something little or something big on that day. That way, in the end, before ka sleep, sabi mo, ay, nagawa ko ito eh. So, starting from there, you can actually build your habit. Wow. That's a really nice quote, Kuya Wawi.
Yes, it's from James Clear.
James Clear. Siguro later on, no, Kuya Wawi, we'll mention like our top 2 books or top 3 books in our next podcast.
Yes, that would be good.
Right. So, I guess that makes our second episode, Kuya Wawi. It's a long one.
Yes. Can I do a shout out for somebody?
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
So we have a member in our group. His name is Dr. Stephen Pamatmat.
Yes.
He was nominated for in the White Coat Investor Group.
Wow, si Doc.
Yes. So he did not get the award, but he is a one of our coaches, investment coaches.
Right.
And he's really helped a lot of people get into the investment world. So congratulations for your nomination, Dr. Stephen Pamatmat.
Congratulations, Dr. Matmat. We appreciate the knowledge that you share in our group for sure. All right, so Kuya Wawi, I guess we'll do it for now. Thank you guys. Oh, well, just a reminder for those who are watching in YouTube and na gusto naman ma-listen sa Spotify or Google Podcasts, you can download it from there and listen while you're driving. You're on your way to work. If it's a long drive, you might want to listen to our podcast. You can download. We're available on those as well. Pending pa kami sa Apple iPod or Apple Podcast. Hindi pa tayo natatanggap, pero we'll get there hopefully.
Wow.
Our goal lang naman is to share insights, common interests, passion outside the physical therapy field. So I guess from here, we're signing out muna, Kuya Wawi, and we'll be back next week.
And thank you to our listeners, and continue giving us feedback and questions, and we'll try to answer it. Thank you very much.
All right, till next week. This is Mark Yu and Wawi Show. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Have a good weekend.